Some beefs stay on social media and in diss tracks, but others turn deadly, leaving families grieving and giving the feds more ammo to build cases that could put people away for life. When crews decide their issues can't be solved with words, the fallout goes far beyond the blocks where it all started. This is the story of the violent beef between NBA 4KT and the Bleeders, a feud that turned deadly. Everything changed on December 2nd, 2021, when NBA affiliates Ben 10 and his cousin Marvin Batiste were caught lacking on I-10 West near Prairieville. They thought they were in safe territory, but the ops pulled up beside them and opened fire. Marvin was hit multiple times and died on the spot in the passenger seat, while Ben 10 survived but was badly injured. Their truck was left full of bullet holes blocking all 3 lanes of the highway as police tried to figure out what happened. This wasn't a random shooting or mistaken identity, it was a targeted hit, the result of long-standing street tension. The Bleeders had been at war with the Vultures, a crew deeply tied to NBA 4KT through street alliances and family connections rooted in Louisiana's criminal world. Ben 10 later spoke on it in an interview with A Million Roses TV, sharing details about his crew and the ongoing beef.
Now, porch, I feel like I'm on the porch, to be real, because think about it, we from the hood. I know I'm from the hood, so it's like you never on the porch. Like, you was brought up in this lifestyle that we brought up in, so, you know what I'm saying?
So which part of Baton Rouge exactly like you from?
Where is police?
Oh. Which part of Baton Rouge, like, exactly that where you from at?
I'm from South Baton Rouge. This shit like 5 minutes that way. The top.
So talk about like how tied in you is, like with the connection as far as just Baton Rouge and, you know, shit that's...
I'm good. Me personally, I'm good everywhere. I'm a young nigga, you heard me? I just made 20. Everybody think I'm like 27, you heard me? But shit, I just made 20. I was in high school last year. I was in high school last year. A year before last. You feel me? But I'm tied in because shit, I really go anywhere. Like, I don't know, everybody really love me. I ain't really got no hatred, but nobody really gonna hate me.
So you feel like you're an approachable person?
I feel like I'm an understanding person. You feel me? I'm an approaching person because shit, it depends on how I feel like that, to be real. I can't just say that. So,
Ben 10 surviving the shooting meant he could speak on what happened, but the Bleeders didn't care about giving him time to heal. True Bleeder members Coer 40 Glock 151 4B and Ruger Rudy quickly dropped a track called Gator Paca Disrespectful. That mocked Marvin's death and took shots at Ben 10 for surviving. Lyrics hit harder knowing they came from people actually involved in the violence. 40 Glock rapped, "Heard a savage got stepped on, they was trying to step on Ben Per." He felt that fire messed around and shut down I-10. These weren't just empty bars, this was real life street talk disguised as music. Ben 10 fired back on Instagram, defending his cousin and calling out the Bleeders directly. He made it clear his cousin wasn't involved in the streets, just a football player caught in the crossfire, making his loss even harder. Ben posted photos of them together, daring the Bleeders to come face him instead of hiding behind tracks. The beef got even more personal when True Bleeder clapped back online, calling Ben 10 a fake stepper and saying he wasn't built for the street life he rapped about. Social media became a war zone, gangs publicly disrespecting their enemies for out trying to prove they weren't scared to crash out. And with the whole city watching, no one wanted to back down. The Bleeders kept the pressure going by dropping another diss track in January 2022 called Pick Your Partner, UPA direct hit at NBA's losses. Videos showed them strapped up, taunting their enemies and daring them to retaliate. This was Baton Rouge in full-blown war mode. The Bleeders came out of Glen Oaks, a tough North Baton Rouge neighborhood known for producing real ones like G Money. Their crew wasn't just built on loyalty, it was built on blood. 3 actual brothers, Real Bleeder, True Bleeder, and Cuss started it all. They didn't pick the name just to sound hard. After going through pain and losing people in the streets, Real Bleeder said, "We should call ourselves True Bleeders because we've really bled together."
Versus NBA, and it's just a lot of that.
Yeah.
Is that stuff that y'all watch? Like, do y'all, is that stuff accurate?
No, I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie. I be saying it, but them dudes, that be people posting trying to.
That's clickbait. That's the people trying to push it together.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. But none of that, like, I really don't see none of this. You know, I don't really follow nobody either. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really be knowing all. You know what I'm saying? I be strictly focused on this music. Like, I be so focused on this shit. I just be trying to make hits, bro. Like, back to back, hit after hit.
And then a lot of these people who make them documentaries, they never been to Baton Rouge before. They just put it together.
Man, bro. Man, it's so crazy, bro.
True Bleeda became the face of the crew. His style was raw, unfiltered, and he rapped openly about real street life while other rappers played it safe for the industry. He wore the Bleeda name with pride, which made him the loudest voice in the crew. Also the biggest target for anyone trying to make a name off beef. The war with the Vultures wasn't just some neighborhood drama. It ran deep. This was about family ties, old grudges, and Baton Rouge street politics that had been brewing for years. Since the Vultures were closely linked with NBA 4KT, beefing with them meant you were going at multiple sets at once. And Ben 10's connection to the Vultures through family made the December 2021 shooting even more personal. It wasn't just street beef anymore, it was a betrayal that hit close to home. He grew up around some of the same people now trying to take him out, turning the whole thing into mental warfare on top of gunplay. In a Setch interview, Real Bleeda revealed he received $130,000 from his mom's life insurance after she passed. That clip got used against him. Hope started saying he and his crew weren't real hustlers, they just came up off sad money. Ben 10 even took shots at that in his songs, clowning their rise. As time went on, the Bleeders expanded. They brought in more members like 54 Daw and other steppers, which added strength but also more problems. Every new recruit had their own baggage, their own enemies, and once they claimed Bleeda, all that drama followed too. Ko later admitted that he and Ben 10 used to be close, real tight growing up. The streets don't care about the past. 1 day, you're brothers, the next day you're on opposite sides ready to pull triggers. That's what happens when pride, loyalty, and the streets all get mixed up.
At that point back then, like my cousin and them, they probably knew somebody else. I ain't know. Like me and Bleeda and them, like we just be really in the hood, so we don't be knowing, bro.
Yeah. I mean, cause Baton Rouge is super small, so that's why when I'm watching these documentaries, I'm like, these had to at least know of each other or grow up together in elementary, middle school.
Hey, bro.
I mean, so what happened? Did people
go apart? Look, that's what I be trying to say too. And been knowing bro stuff, been knowing you, bro, and been knowing you since school, bro. Oh, bro, you ain't like that, bro. You ain't like that, brother. So you gotta stop, like, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's been knowing a lot of these. I ain't even care, bro. And it's really crazy, bro. It's really crazy how people turn out. Like, nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Yeah.
The Bleeders never hid what they were about. They rapped openly about real situation summits, even hinting at crimes in plain sight. That made them seem authentic to fans, but it also made it easier for the feds to keep tabs and build cases. Still, to the Bleeders, street respect meant more than playing it safe. At one point, TG Kassan of their own tree to squash the tension. He reached out to MBASP Young on social media asking why people who once stood side by side had to become enemies, but instead of peace, all he got back was more disrespect. The hate ran deep. This wasn't just smoke, this was full-blown fire. As the Bleeders linked up with other street crews like TBG, Top Boy Gorillas, they gained more alleys but also brought on more attention and more enemies. Now they weren't just beefing with one crew, the pressure came from all directions. Glenn Oaks already had a reputation for producing both rappers and real hitters, so if you grew up there you had to choose either. Chase the mic or chase the streets. The Bleeders chose the block, but they never gave up on using music as a way out. Then came the Mall Massacre. On February 25th, 2022, the Bleeders learned the hard way that fame doesn't protect you from the streets. That day, True Bleeda Cliff, Coer, and 54 Da hit the Mall of Louisiana, chilling and snapping pics with fans. Posting those photos in real time revealed their location, and it turned out to be a deadly mistake. Those would end up being the last pictures of True Bleeda and Cliff alive. Coer sensed something was off. He warned True Bleeda they had been in the mall too long and that it was time to leave before the ops caught on. But the crew didn't take the warning seriously, thinking a public place like the mall would keep them safe. As they were leaving in their car, the opswo had been tracking them, pulled up and opened fire in broad daylight. True Bleeder wasn't going out without a fight. Even though he was hit, he returned fire. Their car ended up crashing into a pole, trapping them inside while the shots kept coming. It was chaos. True Bleeder and Cliff were fatally shot while Coer and 54 Da were badly wounded, injuries they'd carry for life. By the time police arrived, they found 2 dead and 2 barely hanging on. The 2 surviving Bleeders needed immediate medical help, and the scene was pure chaos. Multiple cars riddled with bullets and shell casings scattered across the parking lot. The shooters had ditched their own shot-up car at the scene and escaped in a separate pre-planned getaway vehicle. That detail showed just how calculated the attack was. This wasn't random. It was a professional hit with no loose ends. After the shooting, 54 Da broke down on social media. He was grieving hard, crying over the loss of his day ones and vowing revenge. But instead of showing sympathy, the ops used his pain as ammo. They reposted his videos and mocked his heartbreak, turning it into psychological warfare. NBA members, especially Ben 10, took things to another level. He posted videos listening to True Bleeder's music while making jokes about how he got smoked. Ben 10 even went to the same mall where it all happened and filmed himself, clowning the situation, showing how deeply personal the beef had gotten. Iwe Youngin jumped in too, dropping laughing emojis in response to True Bleeder's death, while NBA Herm added shots in his music, specifically dissing 54 DA's emotional reaction to losing his friends. E. Young kept it going, previewing songs that referenced the mall hit, promised more violence, showing the smoke was far from over. Then came the heat from law enforcement. On April 14, 2022, police made their first arrest for the murders. 21-year-old Dub was hit with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and illegal weapon charges. He was already locked up in East Baton Rouge on different charges, but his connection to the Vultures helped detectives build a case against him for the mall shooting. But in August 2022, a grand jury ruled there wasn't enough evidence to officially charge Dub with the murders. Even with witness statements and some physical evidence, the case showed how tough it is to convict someone in gang-related killing, especially when silence runs deep in the streets. Prosecutors said they would likely bring the case back once they had stronger evidence to make the charges stick. Then on April 11, 2023, the case took a wild turn. Texas police arrested 2 Baton Rouge suspects near the US-Mexico border for smuggling undocumented immigrants. But this wasn't just about immigration. Authorities believed one of them had been involved in the drive-by shooting that killed True Bleeder and Cliff outside the Mall of Louisiana. Investigators identified both men as part of the murder plot. One of them, Graves, allegedly bought a white 2005 Honda Accord on February 24, 2022, the day before the shooting. That same car was used in the drill and later found abandoned on Bluebonnet Boulevard. After the hit, the suspects fled to Texas, where they got caught up in human trafficking. That move exposed their ties to larger criminal networks far beyond Baton Rouge, shifting this case from gang beef to organized crime. Their arrest on federal immigration charges gave prosecutors new leverage to pressure them into cooperating. But the violence didn't stop there. During Easter weekend in Monroe, Louisiana, Real Bleeder was nearly killed in another hit. This time, the ops tracked him down after he accidentally tagged his location on Instagram. He was ambushed at a Walmart gas station, showing once again how social media is a dangerous tool when you're not moving smart. 2 suspects were arrested within 48 hours because they left behind too much evidence. Making things worse, they dropped a diss track called 80K right after the shooting, basically confessing in the lyrics. Police recovered guns from SG Chapo that were later linked to murders in Shreveport, proving the violence had now spread to multiple cities. The ballistic reports made it clear these weren't isolated events. This was organized, coordinated street warfare. Even more ops, including Double D Carter and members of the YN crew, were arrested wearing Easter suits. Mugshots quickly turned into memes and diss posts on social media. What was meant to be a stepper's mission turned into public embarrassment, proving just how fast the streets can flip on you when you slip up. Even one bad move can turn you from feared to clowned overnight. Getting caught lacking can cost you everything. When NBA Youngboy was forced back to Baton Rouge under house arrest, it changed the whole dynamic. His return added fuel to already heated street beefs and brought even more federal heat to Louisiana's gang scene. His presence alone triggered more law enforcement surveillance, as the feds were Already deep into building cases on multiple gangs, the cycle of violence between the Bleeders and their ops kept spinning. Lives were lost, survivors were left disabled or locked up for decades, and every tragedy created new reasons for retaliation. No one cared about legal consequences anymore. Ethos was personal. Every time someone got hit, someone else had to respond. That's how this war kept going. As more gang members got arrested, some started cooperating under pressure, and that exposed even bigger criminal networks. These weren't just local beefs. The feds linked everything: murders, drug deals, illegal weapons, even human smuggling, showing that crews were part of something way bigger than just Baton Rouge. Bill Bleeder and co surviving multiple hits made them street legends, but that also painted a target on their backs. Oaks saw their survival as disrespect and wanted to be the ones to finally take them out. Streets surviving isn't just lucky, it's provocative. And remember, the streets don't move on court schedules. Get Back doesn't wait for trials or sentencing. While lawyers arguing, court steppers are already planning their next move. New hitters take the place of the old ones, and the war keeps going. Young boys' return to Baton Rouge didn't calm things down, it turned up the pressure. And while the feds were watching every move, the body count kept rising. It's a war where everybody claims they're winning, but in reality, nobody wins. If you like this video, hit one of the boxes on your screen to watch more just like this.